It all comes back to money.
This is the Keeping Your Money Show with Jamie Westenbarger and Bart Steindler.
All right, welcome back to Keeping Your Money Show. Jamie Westenbarger, joined as always by Bart Steindler. You know, if you're listening to the show and you're thinking, maybe I need a plan, maybe I need a second opinion, maybe I need a first opinion, maybe I've been doing really great investing all of my money, but here I am 2, 3, 5 years from retirement, maybe 2-3 days from retirement. And you're like, I do not have a retirement income strategy to save my life. You know, we kind of do that around here. So by all means, you're welcome to call. We love talking to people that hear us on the radio. Give us a call anytime. 888-98-MONEY is the number. 888-986-6639. Or shoot me an email, info, I-N-F-O, at keepingyourmoney.com. So there was an article in the USA Today, and there's a good point in here. I think we could expand it a little bit. The one thing I don't like about it, I hate whenever there is like an absolute rule in anything, right? So this whole article is about how you should never own more than 5% of one stock in your portfolio. I don't like hard and fast rules, so I'm not going to agree with that statement. I'm just going to simply say what I think is good about this article is it talks about diversity. And what I think is actually more important than maybe one stock is even one industry or one sector or one part of the market, because we see so many times people come in where maybe they really like banks or they really like the oil industry. And many times it's because they're familiar with it, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they were an executive for a bank, so they're familiar with banking and, you know, they know these bank names, so they own 4 or 5 different stocks of them. But it can really put you in a dangerous situation, especially as you get close to retirement, to have so much concentration in any one area of your portfolio at all.
Yeah, and I think geographically you could say that too. Recently, I had a call and a person had their whole 401k in emerging markets and asked me if I thought that was a good idea. That's a pretty easy one for me to answer. No, it's not a good idea.
It seems like a very bad idea. Well, and I think the thing to remember is there are a lot of companies that when those companies were on top, we would have never imagined they wouldn't be here anymore. You know, we were talking in the break about Woolworths. You know, I mean, Woolworths was Walmart of the 20th century. They pretty much don't exist anymore. They actually are Foot Locker now because they concentrated on their sporting goods line. But I mean, they dominated Middle America, you know, as far as the major, you know, retail kind of store. And you can even go so far as, I mean, Sears, you know, is on life support right now. Kmart pretty much doesn't exist. Even some of the other ones like Penny's and Macy's. I mean, you know, a lot of these retailers that were monsters in their day, today, you know, they're hanging on by a thread.
Yeah. You know, there was a company over in the St. Joe, Benton Harbor area, Zenith, and they had a big...
Yeah, Zenith. I used to have a Zenith TV.
Yeah. And then they used to actually make these little kits called Heath kits, and you'd buy one, you'd build your own radio and things like that and stuff like that. And those used to be tremendously popular. Not so much anymore.
Well, just think of the TV brands. I mean, when you think about it, you know, today it's Vizio and Sony and Samsung. You know, 20 years ago it was Zenith and Philips and, you know, a lot of these other ones that you just don't really even see.
There was one called Curtis Mathis. And they were the, you know, TVs that were still made in the United States.
We had a console Curtis Mathis TV when I was a kid. You know, it looked like a piece of furniture. Had the big button you pulled out to turn it on.
Yeah. It's almost comical looking at this. How about General Electric? I mean, they're, you know, 10 years ago they were like one of the bellwether Wall Street stocks.
Sure.
And this last week they got delisted off of the not the stock exchange, but the Dow.
Yeah, removed from the Dow
Industrial Average.
Yep. Replaced by who are they replaced by?
Walgreen Boots.
Walgreen Boots.
Yeah, because Walgreen was bought out or had a merger, one of those inversions,
Right.
and it was Boots Alliance that,
okay.
that merged with
So
them.
that's called Walgreen Boots?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
these Walgreen boots are made for walking.
I was just going to say that. That's funny.
Nancy Sinatra's daughter's going to come out with that.
Obviously, I'm a big Walgreens follower. Here was an interesting thing they did have in this, though, and I like this. It was like, don't ever forget the legendary couldn't miss super safe golden tickets of yesteryear. All right. America's 13th largest stock 50 years ago was Avon. Right? Followed by Borders, Eastman Kodak, Polaroid, U.S. Steel, Xerox, Zenith, Sears. Now, some of these companies still are around, but they are not.
They're not the behemoths they
are
used to
not
be.
the monsters they used to be.
I tell you something that this article points out that I run into time and time again, and that's the fact that people get emotional relationships with certain investments that they own, and it's either that they worked at a company, or there's something about the company that really appeals to them, or they inherited it from their parents, or their parents used to work at the company, and what they say is, while such ties are human and understandable, retirement investments are your real business, and selling is a business decision, not a personal relationship. Don't let your emotions get in the way of prudence. Hard to let go? Then note this. No one said you couldn't hold on to some of it. Mm-hmm. The important thing is limiting it, not eliminating it.
Well, I think the other thing is being honest and realistic about the company you work for. Mm-hmm. So many times we see people come in and they own a lot of company stock, and it almost feels like betrayal to sell your company stock. Like you don't believe in the company you work for, right?
Right.
It's not that at all. It's just simply being, smart with your future. If your company went out of business tomorrow and you lost your job, with 3.8% unemployment, you'll find another job. If you lost your job and your retirement, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
So you don't have to have your present and your future invested in the company you work for. The other thing is unless you are like the vice president of that company, you don't have any special knowledge. I know. I mean, how many times, Bart, do we have people who are like, well, I worked at Ford, and I'm going to tell you, there's some stuff people don't even realize. No, people realize it. There's analysts that spend more time in Ford factories than you spend there working. I promise. These stocks are analyzed left, right, sideways. Remember that guy we had that came in that had hit the home run? In 2009, he moved his entire 401k into Ford. Ford went up like 1,200% after that. The guy basically hit the lottery. And he was keeping it in there because he was positive, Ford was going to do this, and this. And it was like, buddy,
take some profits.
Yeah, time to reel it in. You did great. Now let's do something with that.
Yeah. And the other thing, if you look at the directors of these companies, the really major holders of these companies, they're diversifying. I mean, you go on any site that tells you about insider, people within a company that are buying and selling the stock. Every day you have directors and owners that own hundreds of thousands of shares of these stocks, and they're diversifying their portfolio and buying and selling it on a regular basis.
Yep, for sure. All right, coming up, we are going to have David Bennett in to talk about a little bit of taking care of yourself, not just your financial side, but your personal side. He's the founder and principal consultant of the David Bennett Company, and that will be coming up next right here on the Keep Your Money Show.
Is your 401k sturdy enough to help support your retirement goals? The Keeping Your Money Show has a team of advisors that will help you size up the assets currently in your 401k and explore asset allocation based on your goals. Call the Keeping Your Money Show today at 1-888-98-MONEY or visit keepingyourmoney.com to learn how you can start solidifying your foundation for a strong retirement plan.